Hello, everyone. Welcome back. In today's episode, we'll be talking about environmental problems and mainly focusing on Brisbane River. Brisbane is my home city. You can see a river behind me. Yeah, a very nice river, but this is not Brisbane River. This is the Yarra River. I'm just in Melbourne for the weekend. So I've taken this opportunity to record this episode in the open. It's a little bit chilly, but it should be fine. So we are going to look at question and answer in the IELTS Speaking Part 2 question about environmental issues in a natural and confident way, not stiff, not rehearsed. So we'll use Brisbane River as the example, and then we'll go through the example style response and some vocabulary explanation at the end, and also some ways of practicing some short phrases, what we call collocations, words that go together. These are very useful and also guide you through some pronunciation of some tricky words like environment and responsibility, because these are multi syllable words, so they need to be pronounced with a particular rhythm, with a particular stress sound, and also there is some trick to the multiple letters that are in the word. So let's get started with the story first. Okay. I'm looking around because I was just wondering whether there are people that are watching me, but it's okay. Okay. So, what is the problem? What is the environmental problem that we face? In my city, Brisbane, one of the main environmental problems is plastic waste in the river. So, after heavy rain, you often see rubbish or trash flowing in the water, like takeaway containers, plastic bottles, snack wrappers that people throw everywhere. It builds up, especially around the ferry terminals, which are what we call city cats in Brisbane, and they get stuck near bridges, and it doesn't look good, so it has to be cleaned regularly. Something that we should solve, and we should have solved by now. So, what causes it? Well, I think obviously it's society, it's our lifestyle. People buy takeaway food and drinks all the time, especially in the CBD and South Bank. And most of the time, the packaging ends up in regular bins, not beans, bins, um, and not recycled. And then when it rains, all of this gets washed into the storm drains. But sometimes it's people mm, are being careless. Sometimes it's people being irresponsible. But most people are responsible and they do not want to pollute. But it's very easy just to forget where rubbish ends up. So, what effects has this had? A few. One, the look. It really damages the river's image, especially for tourists on city cat ferries or people just walking along the river. But the worst part is also it's harmful to the wildlife. Birds peck at these bits of plastic, and yeah, they can get caught and tangled around these paper bags. There are cleanup crews, mostly volunteers, that keep the rubbish in check, keep our city clean. Yes, what can be done about it? Well, I think we can have more bottle refund system. We don't have it in Brisbane, but we have it in South Australia and also in some countries overseas. You pay a little bit extra when you buy the drink, and then you get the money back when you return the bottle. It's simple. It works. It gives people a um, not reason. So it gives people a reason to recycle. So, especially kids, so they can get some bits of change, pocket money, um, to return to them for a bit of activity. So it gives people a reason to recycle, especially kids or students who will return them for a bit of pocket money. For me, this problem hits home because I do like walking along the Brisbane River with my wife. On Sundays, we walk along the Brisbane River and enjoy the scene. And if we see all this rubbish around, it really spoils the walk. It's such a waste, really. Literally, waste. So, yeah, with a small change in our attitude, in the way we um, do our civic duty, like the refund scheme, we could clean it up and take more pride in our city. Okay, that's a brief discussion about environmental issues related to uh, our river and how we can look after it better, what we can do, and so forth. So, yes, that's a nice little passage which will help you learn some new words, some ways of expression. But let's look at 5 useful words or phrases now. There might be some words, some things that may not be familiar. Um, Takeaway containers. You probably know that. So it's just boxes, cups, and packaging used for food and drinks bought to go. Bottle refund system. That's a system. So that's a recycling system, and people get money back when they return used bottles. This one, civic responsibility. So this is the idea about people being civic conscious, which is what how people should care and contribute to the well-being of their community, their civic responsibility. So this word is a very good word to use. It's not very often used nowadays. You might not see it, but I think it's a good word. It's coming back into favor because I think civic responsibility has been going downhill for a very long time. So this is a phrase. Rubbish. No. The next one is a phrase. Rubbish keeps coming back. So it's an everyday phrase. Rubbish keeps coming back. So rubbish is British and Australian English. In America, US, the word would be trash or garbage. All three mean the same thing. Just use the words according to your preference and what you're used to. The next section is we'll look at some collocations, some word chunks. So these are very useful because these words go together and you can learn them in one breath. So the first one is damage the river's image. So this is damage the river's image. For example, the rubbish floating in the Brisbane River really damages the river's image. So the next phrase or chunk is harm aquatic life. Harm aquatic life. So plastic bags and bottle caps often harm aquatic life like fish and turtles. The next phrase is promote civil responsibility. Promote civic, sorry. The next phrase is promote civic responsibility. So promote civic responsibility. So the bottle refund system is a method that can promote civic responsibility. It teaches people to care for public spaces. You can try changing the noun or the verb to these phrases. So instead of aquatic life, you can say marine life. So say damage marine life, damage wildlife. And then instead of um, civic responsibility, you can say promote community awareness, um, promote healthy living, promote something, something that is good for the community. Okay, there are two words, two tricky words, but important words. One of them is the feature, is the focus of this talk today. The word is environment or environmental. So in this word, there are three, four, one, two, three, four syllable, four sounds. Environment. There's a trick here. Sorry, there's a trick here. Most people forget to pronounce the run. So it's not environment, it's environment. So the environment. And then there are two stress sound here. Environment. Environment. So if it's environmental, it is environmental. So it's a mouthful, but yeah, keep practicing. It's not simple. The other one is also let's see. So the other word has six syllable, and that is responsibility. So there's two stress sound here. So the longer the word, the more stress syllable or sound in it. So in this one is responsibility. Responsibility. So you have to practice it slow and then say it fast. Responsibility. Responsibility. That's it. Responsibility. So that it rolls off your tongue. So when you think of this concept, you can quickly say it spontaneously. Responsibility. Try this sentence, this full sentence. We all have a responsibility to protect the environment. Once more. We all have a responsibility to protect the environment. So there you go. If you're preparing for IELTS speaking, remember, Band 7 or Band 8 doesn't mean using complicated words. It means speaking clearly and organizing your ideas and sounding like a real person. So use natural phrases. Phrases that might be common, co-located words like ones we explained here. Use those and make it sound natural, everyday language. Think about your own city. Think about the environment in your city. Perhaps your city, most cities have a river through them. What is your river like? Think about it. When you answer, when you talk about it, add certain features that is specific to your river. So if this video helped you, hit like, leave me a comment. Tell me which river is your city along and the environmental issue that might be happening in your hometown. Subscribe, especially if you're an English learner looking for speaking tips and real examples. This channel is still young, it is still small. At this time of recording, it has about 178 subscribers. So if you leave any comments, you leave any questions, or if you have a topic to suggest, these I should be able to reply. And yes, your question, your suggestion may become the next topic, the next episode. Thanks for watching, and yes, see you next time. Next time, it will be probably back in Brisbane.